Hi viewers and welcome. Today we are with the Direct Drilling magazine out in Staffordshire. We're at their 2023 Covering Soils event, and we thought while we're here we'd have a little catch up with Horsham.
So obviously the sort of remit for the day was all about soil health and cover crops and that kind of thing. Yeah. So there's obviously the cover crop varieties over in the other field. So we're basically talking to customers about all things soil health, whether it be cover crop establishment, drilling into it, or drilling the cash crop itself post cover crop. So we can see we stood in a good healthy cover crop here. This in actual fact has been drilled with Clive's Avatar, which is this machine here, but we do have a whole range of options for establishing cover crops, whether that be mini drill small seeders on cultivators such as the Joker, obviously the Avatar direct drill, or other options out of the drill portfolio such as Pronto or Sprinter.
So this drill belongs to our host farmer, right?
It does. Yeah. So this is Clive's drill, his exact setup here. So we've got 12 metre Horsch Avatar. Yeah. So 12 metre working width. You can see on the side it's 12.25. That stands for 12 metre working width, 25 centimetre coulter spacing.
Right.
Clive's had this for a few years now. I think it was new in 2019. We have changed the design slightly aesthetically of the Avatar, so we're now on steel hoppers rather than the plastic versions. But essentially, what you see here in terms of the coulter design, the principles are very much the same. So we've got a single disc coulter working to open the soil up. Right. Seed is placed down the seed boot. Yep. Running in the disc shadow. And then we've got consolidation either with this black rubber wheel or a white uniformer tongue we can place in there. Right. And then closing here at the back with this star wheel to counteract the effect of that opening disc. Right. So we do very well in terms of direct drilling, establishing cover crops and going into cover crops like this. But I do think it's probably worthwhile saying there's lots of people running Avatars that also run them on a cultivator-based system as well, whether that be after a subsoiler or a shallow cultivation to perhaps chip weeds and that kind of thing.
And what depth are we planting here?
Well, at the moment today, we're not actually sowing any seed. It's just as an example for demonstration. But if we were, we'd probably be planting around 25 to 30 millimetres, something like that.
Okay. So what are the other features of this drill? Split tank?
So, yeah, what we've got here is a split tank with the two large grey tanks. And then at the front we've got a small hopper which we could put either smaller seeds, slug pellets perhaps, a range of different options. So what we're really getting with that is flexibility. If somebody wanted to put seed and fertiliser on, they could do through the two larger hoppers. Yep. But alternatively they could maximise capacity when they were drilling winter wheat.
Right, okay.
On the topic of cover crops, which is obviously what we're looking at here today, a few guys I do know are using the different hoppers to almost blend their own species or mix something specific for a certain field. Okay. So different varieties of seed in the different hoppers and then mix it all down the airstream and sow it.
So you're combining the seed as it goes into the ground. You're not separating the seed and putting it at different depths. Obviously you can't do that with this particular drill, but it is something you can do is blend seeds.
Yeah. So with the 12 metre we can't set the coulters to different depths or different seed types, but with some of the smaller working widths, so the Avatar is available from 3 metres, and on, say, for example, a 6 metre Avatar, we do have the option to do inter-row seeding, so different depths with the front and rear rows of of seed coulters. Right.
So tell me what we've got over here. We've got the Cultro over here. Tell me a little bit about this, mate.
So what we've got over here is the Cultro 6TC. So there's various different versions of the Cultro in terms of working widths available and specifications. Right. We do some options which could be front mounted. So for example, either a 3 or a 6 metre front mounted machine where we would have just this double knife roller. Right. What we've got here is obviously a rear mounted machine, and that's given us the option to have these harrows on at the rear as well. So we've got a double knife roller, 300 millimetres diameter, which has got 6 knife sections on each roller, and then we've got a 3-row harrow behind. So we're going to lower the machine down. The weight of the machine and these knives is then crimping and crushing the cover crop. Right. Almost semi-terminating it, you might say. Okay. We've got on this machine, we've got the 3-row harrow. Now what that might do is in a higher residue situation, it would provide some levelling of any residue lumps and so on and so forth. Or say if we were going on an oilseed rape stubble, if there was any areas where there was an area of thicker chopped residue, it would help spread that
and also you've got a levelling effect on the soil to some extent as well.
To some extent,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's quite nicely adjusted really, because we can adjust it for both height and rake adjustment, so we can adjust the severity of the pitch of that harrow.
So you adjust the pitch of and you can adjust the height of the contact,
yes.
how high or how hard they're going on the ground.
Yes.
Yeah, they're sort of, so you can have them virtually tickling, or you can actually have them slightly penetrating. Is that sort of
you can have them more aggressive? Yeah. I would actually say here today, just with the nature of it being quite wet, to be fair, because of the weather we've had, and the fact it doesn't particularly need it, I would say they are set to be quite passive at the moment in comparison to what they could actually be if we weren't really aggressive with them.
Okay, so in terms of this type of farming with cover crops and stuff like this, it's becoming a trend. We hear people talking about it more and more and more and more. Is this something that Horseshoe's aware? Are you catering more for people now that are dealing with this type of thing, that are looking towards this? Because I mean, you know,
I do think certainly our product range is gearing up. There's more and more products being released all the time from ourselves, and as we see new products released, you do tend to find there's a lot of them that are geared towards regenerative farming. But I would say from a Horsch point of view, it's quite an interesting topic. We actually have a subject where you might call it hybrid farming.
Right.
So not necessarily fully one way or the other, but trying to find the balance. So there's inter-row cultivators for mechanical weeding,
absolutely,
surface harrows, but then of course we also do have the range of cultivators and more traditional seed drills as well.
Right, yes, of course you do, Horsch. Well, I'll tell you what, Gareth, very interesting as usual. Thank you very much,
Thank
mate,
you
for having a chat with me. And I'll tell you what, we might just get some footage of this thing working. What do you reckon?
Go for it.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.